Hello, my Food Mood friends. Welcome. Chandra's and Odyssey, Food and Mood Body Mind Coaching. I'm stoked today to share a topic that I've been wanting to share for a really long time, and it is the tools that I use to take care of my body.
Welcome. Here is your hostess and coach, Chandra Zas, helping people make food and mood changes doable without missing out. Go ahead. High five that like button, subscribe and share while you're there.
Now, I gotta give you a little side backstory that I realize that a lot of you guys don't know, and I wanna start talking a little bit more about because it is a big part of what shaped how I live, and it has to do with meeting my man and going from living in a huge house with a lot of self-care support. I was studying Ayurvedic massage, I was getting a lot of massage, I was doing panchakarmas, I had a chiropractor, I had a psychologist, I had all the things. And then I packed up my life and decided to live in suitcases. This was in the very end of 2014. And I remember having a little bit of a thought I wonder how this is gonna go. I wonder how my body's going to respond without all of my support things. And it was definitely an adventure, and I basically streamlined it down to a few essential tools that we actually traveled with. So one of them is actually, before I get into what the tools are, I wanna talk a little bit more about my body, because these are really tools that I personally use, have used very regularly, and I also really recommend using. When I was a teenager, I was in a number of car accidents. I have kind of a funny neck. I sat meditating for long periods of time and have a meniscus tear, which doesn't really bother me anymore, but I do have something on the opposite hip that bothers me. I have some back pain occasionally, and so one of the things that I do to take care of my pain is use these tools. The other thing that, if you've been watching my stories lately, I've been talking a lot about exercise and really getting back into exercise, which I'm gonna make a whole other video about that. But the reason that it ties into this video is because one of the things that I learned from, I have a new body worker here in Reno who is just incredible, master. And I asked him, I was like, so what can I do? And he was like, strength. And I was like, oh, there's that message again. I need to get back in my body and really exercise. And so I took a serious break this winter, I haven't in a long time. And of course I had some pain flare. I had some back pain flare. And so yes, I use these tools, and these tools are really important and complementary to use in addition to actually moving and exercising my body, your body, our bodies. I love the phrase, if we don't use it, we lose it. And it's so important to move our bodies. One of the biggest problems with our modern lifestyle is all of this sedentary lifestyle, whether you're a truck driver, whether you're sitting at a computer, most of us have jobs where we're predominantly sitting, which is the worst thing for our back. In fact, actually right now I'm sitting on the ground. I find that this is one of the most useful things for me to do for my back, is actually sitting on the ground. And it really helps open my hips, and it really helps me hold my back straight. I feel like the worst thing I do is sit in my desk chair and looking for alternative standing desks. But for right now, and as we've traveled, I didn't have the luxury of having a fancy desk and a fancy chair. So I did with what I could. I exercised on and off depending on what was going on in my life, but that is a big component to back pain and neck pain and shoulder pain. I remember several years ago I was getting some body work done in Israel, and I asked one of my dear friends who was working on me, I was having a lot of shoulder neck pain. He was like, strength. He's like, this area of your body is weak. And so it's true. I find that whether it's my shoulder pain or my lower back pain or my hip pain, or it's working out is one of the best things we can do for stabilizing and strengthening our body so that those pains don't bother us so much. It makes sense. Hello, my friend. How are you? I'm in the Dead Sea, floating in the water. Go ahead and like and share and follow so we can keep in touch. And I definitely will have things maybe I hurt myself climbing, or maybe I just sit in a weird position on my desk for too many hours, but I'll get like pains, like serious pains that I used to go to a body worker, or I used to go to a chiropractor, or I would get cupping with acupuncture or with Chinese medicine. And what I found was these tools to be the most useful. I'm gonna save the best for last, or my favorite for last. So one is a yoga mat. I really love this brand, Manduka, I think it's called. And it's the really, really thin mat. So I use this, I traveled with this. A little bit of downward dog, and back bends are actually one of the best things for back pain. My little one's back, she fell on her birthday on ice, and her back's been bothering her. And one of the best things we all can do is actually back bends. It's very counterintuitive than what most of us think. Do you guys know I have a yoga certifications in my past also? But back bends are like one of the best things that we can do for back pain. So actually like arching our back, laying on the ground, pushing up, and you want to do it really gently, and you want to do it mindfully, and you want to engage your muscles. But back bends are one of the best things that we can do, and nothing better than a wonderful yoga mat to do back bends on. So that's one tool. This tool I really, really love. I used to have like huge foam rollers. This one I chose, this is called Trigger Point. And none of these companies I'm affiliated with at all. These are just what I use. So this, in fact, I actually really don't like, I'm not using any affiliates because I really like to speak my truth. So, I mean, like, at least that's my perspective. So this trigger point therapy, I partly chose it, one, because it was good, and one of my friends had it, and two, because it was hollow. So when I traveled, I like actually put extra things inside of here so that I had more space. Like this literally, we lived out of 5 suitcases for 4 years. When my daughter turned 2, we then got an additional suitcase, and we had 6 suitcases. One huge suitcase was just climbing. And then we had another suitcase with all of our computer and electronic gear, including, I'm just gonna skip to one of my favorite parts, this Hypervolt. It's actually very, very heavy, and it's missing the little knob. There's a knob that goes here. I think this is it right here. And this is amazing. I'm gonna tell more of the story. I'm gonna come back to there. But first I wanna say, this yoga strap is also very, very useful for like pulling and stretching the shoulders and the legs. This is like a very, very awesome tool. Lacrosse tools are another really awesome tool for laying on the ground and then putting it in a spot that hurts, sometimes on the side that doesn't hurt first, and massaging yourself and putting some pressure there. And one of the big tools for working on your own body, also this applies to if you're getting body work done on you, is that like when your body's in like pain, and there's different types of pain. So it's not the pain where it's like, ooh, injury. It's like, it's more like, and it's tricky to learn the difference of that. But there's a pain that's like, it means like, there's a that I take as a signal to my brain, like relax into it. Like, so you gotta pay attention to the pain that's like alarm bell injury versus like tightness and like the need to kind of relax. And so I really like to use this lacrosse ball to lay on in my sore spots, whether it's behind my shoulders after climbing, or my lower middle back, or my hips, or my glutes. I really love the lacrosse balls. In fact, I actually have 2, because it's really nice to do like on both sides of your spine. You want to be careful not to go on the spine. Both sides of the spine or both sides of the butt, really, really useful. And then we have this tool. So this, it's actually extremely heavy compared to the new one. So this is like, oh, it feels like at least half, maybe even less than half the weight. So we traveled with this, and this thing, it always stopped us. We always got pulled over to the side to do a second inspection because I guess it looks weird. It's like a big battery or whatever it is. But this machine is like incredible. And this is like, it's not cheap. It's several $100s. I think it's like $400 or something. But it saved my pain many times. I would often have to ask my partner would like lay on the ground and have him massage my back. And I can't believe how many times my pain would just melt. This is just like an incredible massage tool for back pain. I also use it, I'm now doing some work on my ankles to open them back up, and my calves, and I use it for my calf muscles. My new body worker, he was giving me these exercises, but I was like, this machine is like way better. Like I know what he's trying to get me to do, and this machine is like way better. So we traveled with this Hypervolt for, I think, 5 years. We had this, literally went in and out of many, many, many countries. And I think my daughter dropped it, although I'm not totally sure what happened, but it stopped working. It would like charge and then it would not work. And it was like, oof, this was just a couple months ago. And I was like, oh wow, this is sad. This is a big bummer. Guess we could buy a new one, like possible. But I was like very sad because it's a very special tool. And I decided to write the company and tell them how much I love their product. And I didn't tell them how I traveled all around the world, but I did tell them how much I loved it. And I just said, is there anything you can do? And I told them that it stopped working, that it charges, but it doesn't actually work. It would do like this, like on for like a split second, and then it would stop. Because when you turn it on, well, you can see in the new one now, you can see that it kind of starts like vibrating. So you hold this button. It's actually a new way of working. And then you turn it on to low, and then you get this like, yeah, you get the idea. There's 3 speeds. So I wrote the company pretty much not expecting anything. I mean, they have a 1-year warranty and I was way outside of that. And they wrote back and they asked for the serial number on it. And they said, well, we don't service these old Hypervolts anymore. Can we send you a new one? And I was like, what? Like it was like Christmas. It really was like, felt like an amazing thing. So there's a couple lessons here, because one is my husband, he calls it my blue eyes moves, where I really like to ask for what I want. And I think it's really powerful to know what we want and ask for what we want. But there's an energy behind it that I find is really, really useful. And it has to do with being unattached, like being vulnerable and sharing what it is that we want, but not being entitled or expectant or expecting them to say yes, or being attached to what their answer is. And so I have found that this in relationships, in my business, in so many areas of my life is such a powerful way to engage and to ask for things and to want things. So to be all in, but unattached. I think I'm going to do an entire episode on this because it's just such a powerful concept. But I used it for this Hypervolt Hyperice. So basically, we just got a total upgrade. They mailed it to us in the mail, and I am just thrilled. It's actually, the old one is quite heavy, and for the person, well, they're either if you're massaging yourself or you're massaging someone else, it was like, felt kind of like a workout. It's I'm not sure how heavy it is, but it's like pretty heavy. And the Hyperice is actually extremely, like, it works just as well, and it's at least half the weight. So it's really great. So I just feel like we got a total upgrade. I'm super stoked. I highly, highly recommend it for yourself. If you're a traveler, if you work at a desk, as a gift to anyone, it is just an incredible massage tool. Really, really incredible. I just have been doing like all of the lines in my legs, the outsides and the insides and my feet, and wow, I just can't say that, I actually, when the company told me that they were gonna send me this, I told them that I would do a video about them, and they were like, great, send it to us. I don't get anything from it, except I did get a free machine. I was wanting to do this video about the Hypervolt before I got the new one, but this just like sent me over the top for me wanting to talk about how incredible it is. So if you have back pain, shoulder pain, if you just wanna take care of your body, and it's, I mean, if you think about a massage as, let's say $100, so 3 times using it, 4 times using it, you've paid for it. It's just an incredible tool. So I would really recommend it. There's attachments and stuff. I actually don't even use the attachments. I just use this main one. This is like my favorite one. And yeah, so those are the tools that we literally traveled with, and that I was able to, in combination with my normal, I love to eat really clean food. I love to feel really good with my food. In addition to working out, climbing, I'm gonna do an entire episode on insanity because it's the best workout ever. And yeah, that is literally was part of our suitcase. I didn't travel with whatever else I decided not to travel with in order to make space for these guys. So thank you very much for your time and attention. If this message like resonates with you and you're wanting to up-level your health, diet, stress, and lifestyle, come join my program and start falling in love with healthy you to make the changes and to live the life and to hook your future self up, either getting out of pain or optimizing your brain. It's all the same. So thank you very much, and I will see you next week.